My name is Tony Vitiello. I run the tax and estate planning group at Connell Foley in Roseland, New Jersey. The best definition and most broad definition of estate planning is the transfer of assets at death and the handling of your affairs at death. A family must establish an estate plan if they have minor children. If a parent has a minor child, it's imperative that they put a will in place. And that might be the extent of their estate planning. To put a will in place, you need to work with an attorney. And the reason is writing a will is a practice of law. Now, there are some websites out there that have basic will forms, but you really take a chance by using those internet sites. And the reason is every state, New Jersey has different requirements than New York in terms of signing a will and making sure a will can get probated. And thus you want to ensure that you use a lawyer in the state of your residence so that those procedures are followed. A simple will deal with the appointment of a guardian if a parent dies with having minor children. The reason why we want parents with minor children to have a will is to appoint a guardian if in the event both parents are deceased. The guardianship is an important and probably the most important piece of a will for anyone who either doesn't have money, or in terms of a significant amount of assets, or is young and has minor children. The other reason for having an estate plan or having a basic will is if you have assets to transfer at your death. It's much better to have a will and set forth how you will have your assets transferred than if you leave it up to the states to decide how your assets will pass. An example of a typical family, young family, who needs an estate plan is a client of mine, Rich Cella. They have a very typical, good family with young children, with issues of ensuring that if one of the parents passes away, their assets pass appropriately to the survivor and then to the children in trust.
One incident that did happen in the past to a friend of ours was a young friend that passed away at the age of 33, leaving a 2-year-old and a 3-month-old. And that prompted us to realize that we needed to protect our children and have something set up in order to, in case something happened, and to realize that it could happen to anyone.
And in terms of the laws, it was a great concern of ours that if we didn't have anything in place, that the basically state of New Jersey would really come in and take over and decide where the kids would actually be placed. And that was a big concern to us. We didn't want them to tell our families who and decide their fate. So that was a real key point to us, and that really made us pushing the process through even more quickly, and that's why we did it.
Paramount to us was who was going to take care of our children and where they were going to end up, but also from a financial perspective, who would monitor the funds so that they would be able to continue to go to school, to go to college, to be taken care of. And we didn't want that to be left in the hands of a judge or a state. We wanted to make sure that we had every document in place so that they would be able to be provided for the best possible way that they could.
Mommy, remember when I did pottery today?
I was working downtown during 9/11, so I understand that anything can happen, and so we really felt comfortable that they'll be well off and they're in good hands.
Our attorney took us through the process step by step, reading through all the documents, explaining to us what we were signing, what we were putting in place, and the ramifications of everything as it related to the law, so that we felt comfortable in layman's terms versus in legal language, because that was something that we didn't know. So he made us feel extremely comfortable that what we put into place was exactly what we wanted put in place.
Sit down and have a delicious dinner. Is it yes, Nick?
As far as how long this process would take, it's a very relatively short period of time. We did our research. We knew that we wanted to put something in place. We discussed it amongst ourselves, and we made an appointment with Tony Vitiello. We went to see him. We had a consultation. He put into place a draft of what we had talked about, and we went back. He sent us a copy of the draft. We looked at it, we went back, he finalized it, and we signed the documents. The entire process probably took maybe a month to 2 months.
Every, I'd say 2 to 3 years, we'll go back and look over it. I'll make sure that I have the proper folks in place. You know, Tony keeps us abreast of any tax law changes and estate tax law changes, so that's important. He'll let us know if we need to change something within the will and the trust.
What I would say to others who may have children that have not put a plan in place, that it is very, very important to do so, because even if you don't want to visit that, you have to, because if, God forbid, something happened unexpectedly, you would want those children taken care of.
In terms of cost of everything, it's really small in terms of the overall ramifications of it, because you're talking about, depending upon the type of client, could be significant assets, and you're talking about your children here, which is the greatest asset of all. So it's really silly if you haven't really thought about it, because at the end of the day, you know, like I said, anything can happen, and we feel comfortable that, you know, everything is taken care of.